What is happening, everybody, on YouTube? Steve here with Raiken Profit over at RaikenProfit.com, coming back to you with another live show. And in today's live show, we're starting up a new series called Killer Clothing Brands to Sell on eBay. And, since this is the first show we're doing in this series, we got to start it off with a bang. And I want to talk about a brand that can make you a lot of money if you're looking to sell clothing on eBay. I've been selling clothing on eBay for over 3 years. I've sold thousands of articles of clothing, and out of the hundreds, thousands of brands that are out there that can make you money selling clothes on eBay, Vineyard Vines is definitely one of the best ones. So I want to give you a little insight in terms of how Vineyard Vines started in the brand. If you're taking a look at the screen right now, you see two gentlemen on the screen. And that's actually Shep and Ian. And these are two brothers who started up this brand, Vineyard Vines. And pretty much the story is they were working corporate jobs. They were in Manhattan working corporate jobs, and they were miserable. They hated their jobs. And, these are, if you ever watch any videos of these guys and like their story, like they're fun, like playful guys. And you can tell that they were sick and tired of, doing the 9-to-5 job. And one day they decided to quit their jobs, and they actually started by selling ties out of their apartment. And this is in 1998. So this was almost 15, 16 years ago. They started selling ties out of their apartment. And before you know it, they actually sold out of all of their ties. And they started up their website. And they had themselves a little e-commerce website. And next thing you know, a lot of their ties were being featured in a lot of specialty stores. And before you know it, these stores were selling more and more of the ties. And they figured, you know what? I think it's time to actually start up our own storefront. And they started up their own store. Now I believe they have over 40 retail locations in America. It may be more. I was just watching a video about their story, so it may be more, but it's a very popular brand. And now they have a lot more than ties. They have a whole line of clothing, from pants to dress shirts to hats, shorts. I mean, the list really goes on and on. So it's definitely a very awesome story hearing about these guys. And they actually grew up in Connecticut, which is where I live. So definitely a brand that can make you some good money. So what we're going to be doing in this live show is going through some of the best items that you can buy, specifically, what items are selling. And I'm going to show you, based on the sold listings on eBay, what items are selling, what are the models, how much they're selling for, hopefully to put you in a position to be able to find these items when you're out at garage sales, thrift stores, flea markets, or maybe if you're doing retail arbitrage, which is a great opportunity. So let's do a sound check real quick to make sure everything is working smooth, which is a great opportunity. All right. Sound is working well. Looks like we got a few people in the comment section right now. I want to say hello to Hustle Hero. Good to have you here. We got Thriftology in the house. What's going on? So there is a live feed going on right now. So if you are looking to hang out and interact with other like-minded resellers or people who are just interested in the same topic you are, which is making money selling clothing on eBay, get in the comment section and say hello to some of the people. I'm actually sipping on a little kombucha. I don't know if you guys have ever had that, but let me take a drink real quick. This stuff is good, and it makes you feel terrific. So, all right, I'll be jumping in and out of the comment section periodically through the show. But without further ado, let's dive into this new series, Killer Clothing Brands that Sell on eBay, and let's dig a little deeper into the brand Vineyard Vines. All right, so when it comes to Vineyard Vines, one of the most common types of items you're going to find is this item right in front of you. This is a Vineyard Vines dress shirt. And of course, you can tell this brand by the tag, but also they've trademarked the whale, their happy little pink whale. They've trademarked that, which was pretty cool because when they first founded their company, they were doing trademark research on their kind of like their mascot in a sense, or their logo, which is the whale. And they had discovered that nobody actually trademarked the whale, and they trademarked it. So that's a cool little insight right there. But you could always tell this brand by that little whale. Now on the shirts, they're typically going to be purple, but they're actually, their kind of brand is more of a pink whale logo. But this is a nice checkered button front shirt. Looks like it's an Oxford collar. Very cool. This is probably the most common item you're going to find. You will find dress shirts without the whale on the front, and then you'll find other ones with the whale. The ones with the whale always tend to do better. And the same stands true for a lot of brands like Ralph Lauren, Lacoste, Burberry. These people who are purchasing this item, they want to flaunt it. They want people to know, I got Vineyard Vines on. I got Ralph Lauren on. I got Lacoste. And as you know, Ralph Lauren has the horse, Lacoste has the little crocodile alligator, and Vineyard Vines has the whale. So if you could ever find a clothing item with the logo, it's always going to tend to do a little better. This sold for $39.99 right here, size extra large. Looks like this seller provided the three measurements that are important, which is the chest length and sleeves. Again, I've said this before, include measurements. It's going to help for the items to sell and get less returns. Next item up is a corduroy shirt. And you'll notice that with some of the Vineyard Vines shirts, there's kind of like little models or little versions to it. This is the skiff shirt. Sometimes you'll see the whale shirt. I think there's another one called like Tougher or something like that. There's a whole bunch of different models. Simply just look up, if I was to look this up to price it, I would type in Vineyard Vines skiff shirt corduroy and then hit sold listings to see what they're selling for. And then I would mark it accordingly. Vineyard Vines by Shep and Ian. If you're wondering who Shep and Ian is, those are the two brothers who founded this company. Size extra large, 100% cotton corduroy. I love dealing with corduroy when it comes to well-selling brands. So yeah, this did well, $39.99. So I mean, the most I would ever pay for this item is probably $10. Depending on the sold listings, if all the corduroys were going for like 40, then I'd probably pay up to like 15. But yeah, very nice item. Let's go through some pictures. Seller did a good job taking pictures. Nice white background. Looks like there's some light directed on the clothing item, so stands out well. And as you can see, the whale logo's on the front, which is going to make it more desirable for customers. And looks like this shipped from Boston, Massachusetts, which is about 2 hours out from where I live. Beautiful listing right here. I love this template. All right. Hustle Hero is asking a question. Is it better to get larger sizes of these shirts or the more common sizes, medium and large, when it comes to the speed at which they sell on eBay? Good question, Hustle Hero. I've always found that the bigger sizes do better. But with Vineyard Vines, it's one of those brands that pretty much anything will sell. Smalls, mediums, larges, extra larges. I'd say the more common sizes are large, extra large, just because, in my opinion, Americans are a little bigger. But really, any size will do well in this brand. But I typically try to, get the bigger sizes. They tend to do better. RD Runner Picker says, I love me some kombucha. Yes, it is amazing. So it looks like we got 41 people watching live right now. Want to thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you all. Hopefully you are learning something new about the brand Vineyard Vines. If you can, do me a big favor right now and hit that like button. We only got 13 likes. I need more likes. So smash that like button, show some love. Let's move on to the next Vineyard Vines item. I've actually sold this exact item before. I remember I actually picked this up at a Goodwill in, speaking of the devil, Boston, Massachusetts. And it was the same Goodwill. I don't know if you guys ever saw my video where I went into this Goodwill and I was moving clothes along the rack and the whole entire commercial grade metal rack collapsed. And I actually have it on video with the guy cleaning it up. That was the thrift store. And I actually found this item there. At least it was something similar. The crew neck sweaters do very, very well. Sweaters, Vineyard Vines. Sweaters plus Vineyard Vines equals money in your pocket. This is 100% wool crew neck. You can tell it's the crew neck based on the little area below the tag. There's no collar, kind of circular motion right there. Yeah, size medium. So this is somewhat of a smaller item in a sense. This actually sold from Arizona, $7.95. Shipping plus $38. So keep your eyes out for the Vineyard Vines sweaters. Yeah, they do very well. Next up is a Vineyard Vines 1/4 zip sweater pullover. And sweater pullovers, the 1/4 zip with Vineyard Vines do tremendous. And I'm going to show you guys real quick. This one sold for 39 buckaroos. Beautiful color, nice item. I love it. But I'm going to show you guys the proof is in the pudding. Vineyard Vines zip pullover. They pretty much all do very, very well. So I'm gonna hit the sold listings and boom, $24.99, $39, $50, $59, $29, $39. This is actually a boys, which the kid stuff doesn't do as well. I mean, it'll sell quick, but it's gonna go for a little less. 24, 42, 34. So as you can see, guys, I mean, these 1/4 zip pullover sweaters with the logo on the front do spectacular, and they could bring you in some awesome money. Now, they're going to be hard to come across. People know about these items. Thrift stores know about them. I was actually just in a consignment store the other day, and they had these marked at like 30, 40, 50 bucks used. So there's a big following behind this brand and this particular item. This is probably one of the most particular types of items within the Vineyard Vines brand. But if you find it, 5, 10 bucks, pick it up. You'll make some money. Vineyard Vines t-shirts. I know a lot of sellers on eBay who sell clothes on eBay, they tend to stay away from t-shirts because a lot of times they only sell for 5, 10, 15 bucks. But this is actually a brand that does very well with the t-shirts. You're looking at a solid 15, 20, 25 bucks a t-shirt, depending on the design. This one actually sold for 39 bucks, which is a great margin because you could probably pick up this shirt if it was at a thrift store for a couple bucks. So that's pretty cool right there. Vineyard Vines, take a look at this. Looks like it's themed lacrosse. And I love the Vineyard Vines shirts with the little pocket with the whale logo on the front. They do very, very well. Next up is a pair of Vineyard Vines shorts. Vineyard Vines shorts. Yes, shorts do sell on eBay, and especially Vineyard Vines shorts, probably one of the most popular types of shorts when dealing popular brands when dealing with shorts is Vineyard Vines. Summertime is coming to an end. A lot of people ask, Steve, should I buy summer wear, athletic gear, shorts, t-shirts when we're transitioning into fall, winter? Is it that important? Let me put it this way, guys. If you're selling internationally or if you're opted in to the global shipping program, you're going to have buyers and customers from all over the world. So, it may be cold here, but somewhere across the country or the world, it might be super hot. So don't get too caught up into the seasonality. But yeah, $38.99 Vineyard Vine shorts. Let's look through some of the pictures. So this is actually Vineyard Vines for Kentucky Derby. I've never seen anything like this before. Probably some horses on the front. Yeah, little horseshoes. Very nice. Kendall Browns has picked up a Vineyard Vines belt at a yard sale for $1 and sold it for $34.99 in one day. Keep an eye out for belts, guys. It was a men's. Cool. That's really awesome right there. At the end of this show, I'm going to share with you a few more other types of clothing items outside of traditional men's clothing, some accessories that sell well, but I didn't include belts. I forgot about them. Belts do very well. Awesome tip right there. All right. Next up is a pair of swim trunks. And what are those? Are those watermelon or oranges? I'm not sure. But it's fruit slices on this pair of swim trunks right here. At the bottom, you can see the Vineyard Vines little logo. $39.99. Check that out. $39.99 in this pair of shorts, which is pretty cool. Let me shift this over a little bit. Men's Vineyard Vines fruit slices, swim trunks, extra large. You know, I tell you right now, 9 out of 10 resellers would probably pass up, the swim trunk area in a thrift store, which, it's a little uncomfortable. You're going through swim trunks and you know the deal. But there's money. There's definitely really good money to be made in bathing suits and swim trunks, especially associated with a really good brand. If anyone is wearing a pair of Vineyard Vines, anything Vineyard Vines right now, whether it's shorts, socks, a tie, a hat, let me know in the comment section. But yeah, that was a cool item right there. Next up is a Vineyard Vines a pair of plaid dress pants. I didn't even know that they made these things. Let's take a look at these. Look at that, size 30 regular. These sold for $105. Now, granted, they were new with tags. So according to the condition, new with tags, but 105 buckaroos. All right. Great new Vineyard Vines men's tartan plaid holiday dress pants. Plain flat front pants, pants button and hook on the inside, 30-inch waist, 36-inch inseam. So I've mentioned this before, guys. If you're selling pants, always provide the measurements. The most common measurements people are going to want is obviously the waist. So measure the waist and then times it by 2. And then the inseam from the crotch to the hem of the pants. And sometimes I'll even ask for the width of the leg opening. So that's definitely good to know. Next on deck is a Vineyard Vines vest, quilted vest that sold for $50. I mean, tell me that is not awesome. I mean, imagine picking this thing up for $5 or $10. I mean, there's a lot of profit there. You can easily triple your money on an investment like that. One thing that I really like about this vest is, number one, it's quilted. Number two, full zip, really nice. Number three, I think all vests are full zip. Maybe not. Some are pullovers. Is the leather trim alongside the little pockets, little zip pockets. That's really cool right there. This vest is in excellent condition and is very warm. I wouldn't be selling it if I didn't lose weight. You could wear it. Oh, man, that's funny. 74 bow tie says, looks like something a golfer would wear. All right. What do we have up here? Let's see. Here we have another Vineyard Vines t-shirt, and I want to show this to you guys just to kind of, instill in your brain that the t-shirts do very well. Don't hesitate to look through the t-shirt section while you're sourcing at a thrift store or if you're at a garage sale, because these things can make you money. Here's another one, $38.99 for this Vineyard Vines t-shirt. I really like the yellow whale. That's cool. It really stands out. If someone was wearing this, it would be super obvious that it's Vineyard Vines to anybody who knew about it, which customers love. All right, let's take a look at the description. Does anyone see the measurements? Okay, here's the measurements. Width and length, very good. Free shipping, awesome. So that was a nice Vineyard Vines shirt right there. Next up that sold is a Vineyard Vines khaki set of khaki pants. These are flat front, size 28-30. So they are somewhat small, but they sold for $39.99. I love buying khakis. I love buying pants within the Vineyard Vines brand. And a lot of times, I don't know why, but when I find khakis or pants at a thrift store, I always find 2 or 3. It always seems like whoever donated it just donated all their Vineyard Vines stuff. And what I typically do in that situation, if I find 2 or 3 of them, is I lot them up together and sell them in a lot. I've done very well in the past to selling lots of Vineyard Vines, not only pants, but also polo shirts as well. So keep your eye out for Vineyard Vines pants, especially khakis. All right, so now we're going to move into some of the accessories that were 74 bow tie, referring to the plaid pants. Oh, okay, thank you. Now we're going to deal with some of the accessories within the Vineyard Vines brand that can make you some really good money. Before what's her name? Before, let's see, Kendall was talking about, I believe, was it Kendall was talking about the belt that she had sold? It might have been her or somebody else, but belts do very well. But here's another item that can make you some really good money. Bow ties. Here is a Vineyard Vines bow tie that sold for $25. Now, shipping a bow tie is really easy. Throw that puppy into a poly bag for about $2, $2.50. First class mail, and sell that for 25. You pay $2, you're in it. 250 shipping, you're up to 5. $3 in fees, you're up to 8. I mean, $2 investment, you could probably make 16, 17 bucks selling it for 25 bucks. So keep your eye out for bow ties. Let's do a search real quick. Let's see if all of them are selling well. Oh, pre-owned. Excuse me. And let's go sold. Wow, check this out. 58 bucks. Looks like a tie and a bow tie. Here's I'm not sure what that is. It looks like these are just ties. Yeah, these things are doing well. $16.99. $36 for that. That's cool. Best offer under 60. Holy moly. You sell one of these bow ties, you retire. You never have to work another day in your life. Yeah, these things are doing extremely well. Yeah, so keep your eye out for these items. Next Vineyard Vines item is ties. So we talked about this before. Shep and Ian, they actually started off their brand Vineyard Vines by selling ties locally, and that's pretty much what they're known for is their ties. That's how they got their start, and you can make really, really good money selling Vineyard Vines ties. This one sold for 31 bucks. Let's do a search real quick on Vineyard Vines ties. If you're looking through the tie section at the thrift store, always keep your eye out for Vineyard Vines. I'll typically pay up to $5 to $6 for these puppies. I don't like to spend really much more than that because some of them don't do as well for some reason or another. 22, 25, 24. Some only go for 12 or 13 for one reason or another. But it looks like the median price for a Vineyard Vines tie, I would say, is between 15 to 25. Some of the really bright colors, or if it's new with tags, or it's like if it's got a really unique design, like it's themed with like an animal or some type of print that's just odd and unique, then you're looking more towards north of 30. Here's a lot of 7 for 95 bucks. So yeah, ties can make you really good money. And the last item I want to share with you guys are hats, Vineyard Vines hats. I remember before I even knew about Vineyard Vines, this was a long time ago. This was about 3 years ago. I was new to thrifting. I was new to selling clothing on eBay. And I remember walking into a Savers, my local Savers, and I saw a hat that looked cool. It had a whale on the front. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I picked up the hat and I'm like, it's a really nice hat. And I didn't even think about reselling it. I just put it on my head, bought it, put it on my head, and just wore it around for like 3 months. And then finally, like, I stopped wearing it and I threw it like in a closet. And then like 6 months later, I pulled it out and I'm like, oh, there's my old hat. And I'm like, holy crap, this is a Vineyard Vines hat. I didn't even know that it was a Vineyard Vines. I just bought it. I didn't know anything about selling clothing really at the time. And you might have seen me in some of my earlier videos wearing that hat. But Vineyard Vines hats do really well. Not huge money, but you'll see from the sold listings that they do pretty well. So, 15, 25, 15 bucks to 25 bucks for these Vineyard Vines hats. Typically, let me throw that keyword in there. Some a little lower if you go auction, but if you go buy it now, you should be able to get at least 15 bucks or higher if it's in good shape. Here's a visor. It's pretty cool. $22.95. Best offer under 25, 17, 20, 25, 24. Here's another hat, went for 25. Okay, what else do we got in here? 22.50. Wow, that's a cool looking hat right there. Kentucky Derby 25. So as you can see, guys, the Vineyard Vines hats are definitely doing well, and you can make money with them. I'm amazed how the blind lead the blind. Unsubbed. Interesting. If you don't want to make money, big money, Bobby, with Vineyard Vines, man, that's cool. It's all right. But for anyone out there who doesn't think that you can make money with Vineyard Vines, I mean, I'm not making this stuff up. I'm in the sold listings right now. I mean, proof is in the pudding. So for the folks who are in here who are positive, who are looking to take action and make money, commend you. You're doing a great job. And, you just got to go out there and source these items. You got to go out looking. These Vineyard Vines hats, dress shirts, these Vineyard Vines items aren't going to just walk up and sit on your lap. You got to go out and find them. And the easiest way to find Vineyard Vines items is just go to your thrift stores, Savers, Goodwill, Salvation Army, mom and pop shops. Those are going to be the easiest places to go and find it. Now, again, if you're on the East Coast, you're going to have a better chance at finding it. If you're on the West Coast, you're probably going to have a hard time. But again, if you are on the East Coast and you have thrift stores, look for them. Garage sales, I find these things at garage sales from time to time. Yeah, garage sales and thrift stores are probably the easiest locations to find this brand. Thrift and carry, I would freak if I found Vineyard Vines. I've been getting some good Patagonia and Under Armour. RD Runner Picker haters are going to ignore them. Yeah, that's one thing I've learned to do is just to ignore the haters, because some people are just super, super negative. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. It's probably one of the toughest things that I've tried to deal with on YouTube, is just like realizing like you can't let people bring you down, because some people are just very, it's crazy. I don't want to get into it, but it's just like, it's mind blowing. Let's see. A lot of people are unsubbed. Really, I've learned more from Steve than anybody on YouTube. I appreciate that, Oxford. You can't change. Some people are just, how it is. You guys go out in the world and you see how people are. 95, 98, 99% of people are really good. They're, decent people, but some people, they just have a hard time communicating and they're just upset with the world. Who knows? There's so many, I try not to judge people, because there might be something going on in everybody's life. Maybe they're having a bad day or whatever. So anyways, yeah, Vineyard Vines, definitely a brand that can make you money. I'm gonna do this series for a whole bunch more brands in the future. So maybe a couple times a week we'll focus on another brand. Maybe Tommy Bahama, Ralph Lauren, Keaton, Canali. There's so many brands out there. There's thousands of brands. So we're going to dive into a lot of the brands over the next upcoming months and years, hopefully, to help you guys out. And it's a lot of fun. It keeps me on my game. So it's like killing two birds with one stone. Great info. Are you familiar with the Vintage Fashion Guild? They have a label library with pictures of labels from brands like Pendleton and J. Crew. Great way to date clothing items. I'm not, but I'll look into that for sure. Amy, I love your positivity. You never stoop to another's level. Appreciate that, Amy. Thrift and Carry, agree. Steve, you have helped me, and I am grateful. Sales have increased. I want to read you guys a message I got on my Facebook today, which is pretty much one of the main reasons why I love, making these videos. Here's a message I got today. It was actually Tuesday, last night at 11:32. Steve, I had to send you a quick message, man. I need to thank you for all your videos, advice, and words of encouragement. I've been flirting with the idea of being a reseller now for about 6 years, but can never work the testicular fortitude to take that plunge. After many Raiken Profit, quote unquote, therapy sessions, green room shows, and all the info you've thrown out there, I finally started selling 6 months ago. I'm to the point now where I can finally leave my job that I've been miserable at for 15 years and do something I like. So honestly, I just want to give you a heartfelt thank you. Keep making these profits, brother. So, I mean, I get comments like this all the time, guys. So, one thing that I've learned is, you got to focus on the people that you're helping and focus on, the value that you're giving, and this is something that I think you guys can all take as well in your life as well. There may be some people who don't agree with what you do buying from thrift stores or reselling on eBay. They might say, Heather, Sarah, like Joe, like they might make little jokes like, oh, you're just doing a hobby. That's not a real business. Like, why don't you get a real job? Like there'll be people who try to bring you down and take you down, but you got to focus. If you know what you're doing is adding value and that it's working, you know that you're making money. If you know what you're doing is ethical, focus on that. Don't focus on the negativity. Don't focus on the hate. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do something, because you want to know what? The proof is in the pudding in these sold listings. The proof is in the pudding with all these people making amazing YouTube videos and these Facebook groups. There's thousands and thousands of people out there who are earning, a couple $100 a month reselling, a couple thousand, and others who are making a full-time income. I quit my job over 3 years ago. I was miserable. I was working at gas stations, retail stores, restaurants. I was delivering pizzas. And if I was able to quit my job 3 years ago and make a full-time income selling on eBay, selling on Amazon, selling on Craigslist, running other businesses, making YouTube videos, you could do the same thing as well. So hopefully that positive message hit you at the right place and at the right time. Let's see what else is going on in the comments section. Hey, Steve, do you do sports stuff like memorabilia and clothing? Yeah, I do a bunch of different sports types of items. I actually just picked up a Adidas tracksuit in Baltimore the other day, and it has it has some name on the front from Ukraine, which is pretty cool. I'm going to try to sell that for like $50, which I paid, I believe, $12.99 new with tags. Will you sell high-end clothing like Vineyard Vines even if there's a stain or a hole? You can. You can sell clothing with flaws. It is going to depreciate the value. And depending on where the flaw is, it may or may not affect the value substantially. If you have a, excuse me, if you have a polo shirt with a big stain on the front, I mean, who in the right mind is going to want to wear that? Or a dress shirt with a big stain on the front. They're wearing it because they want to look good and it's clean and it's formal. If you have a tie that has a flaw, but it's on the inside of the tie, so when people wear it, they can't see it. It may affect the value a little bit, but someone will still buy it. So, it really depends on the flaw, where the flaw is, and how bad it is, and how much it really affects the overall quality of the item. Dead end jobs make me feel dead inside. Yay, freedom. What's going on, Chris S? I agree. It's tough. It's I have sympathy for everyone out there who they go into their jobs 9 to 5. I mean, today I was at the gym, LA Fitness. I go to LA Fitness Monday through Friday, and I was at the gym. I got there at 5:30, and I saw the salesmen and the workers there, and they were the janitor, and I looked at them and I'm like, they do not look happy. They look miserable, and I'm like, only if they knew. Only if they knew that they could go out to retail stores and thrift stores and garage sales and do online arbitrage, and that they could make money online. Only if they knew, I'm sure they would do it and they would change their life. But you got to let people run their own course. It's tough. It's tough seeing other people, and they got to figure it out on their own, which I'm sure they will eventually. Axel Roselle, Steve, let's go thrifting one of these days. You could be my mentor. Let's do it. I've been told I am evil for buying from thrift stores and marking it up. Not sure why that would be, but life is good. I'm making more money. I mean, I've had that happen before too. I actually had someone the other day say, Steve, I actually made a video about this. I don't know if I'm going to release the video or not, but I made a video talking about, is thrifting ethical? Is it ethical to buy from a thrift store, which in some people's eyes is technically for the poor and the unfortunate? So I think I'm gonna have to release that video. It was a pretty interesting video. I've had some crazy things people have said to me at thrift stores, though. I made a video the other day talking about the guy who he was upset that I was scanning books. He didn't like the fact that I was scanning books when it took him hours to find one book. And I told him, why don't you just get a smartphone in the Amazon Seller app? And he just walked away kind of pissed off. So it is what it is. These thrift stores that I go to, Goodwill, Savers, whenever I buy from Savers, that money, actually a portion of that gets donated to the Big Brother Foundation. When I buy from Goodwill, a portion of that helps people to find jobs locally. So, I don't think it's evil because, the money's going to a good cause. But anyways, guys, that's about it. If you like this video, be sure to, show some love and hit that like button. It looks like we got 36 people who liked it and only 3 people who didn't like it. So that's a pretty good ratio right there. I want to say I am super grateful. I'm a little stuffed up, Tawny, so I apologize about that. but I appreciate you guys, and I'm grateful for everybody who's watching live and who are contributing to the feed. You guys are awesome. You guys keep me motivated and inspired and wanting to keep pushing forward. Yeah. So again, thanks for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe. If you guys want to learn about more clothing brands, go into the description area. I've got a few products that I've created: 101 killer clothing brands and 102 killer clothing brands, which in compilation are 203 brands that you can be on the lookout for, and it's a guide and it can help you to kind of learn on your own and kind of figure things out so you can start going to thrift stores and making money with clothing. So check out the links in the description as well. Also, there's a free book in the description. First link, 100 amazing items to resell. Get that book. That'll help you out for sure. But yeah, with that being said, you guys have a great Wednesday. I'll see you tonight for the Green Room Hangout. We've got a guest coming on talking about brick and mortar, video games, and a bunch of cool stuff as well. So see you later on tonight. Until next time, keep on picking and making on money, and I'll talk to you soon.